Hello, construction owners. It is a great day to be with you and share what I know about the design and construction process. Speaking of process, today we're going to discuss the construction process start to finish, and we're going to create a visual live that I will post as part of this video, and you can keep and have it as a reference. Now, the construction process is one that's followed every day, literally by thousands of projects across our globe, and billions of dollars of residential and commercial construction are completed with this process every day. Now, there's variations to this process. There's people who spend their entire career studying just this process and looking at ways to improve it. Yet, there is a great standard out there that you can learn, you can follow, and that if you realize this process exists and you take advantage of it, you will help the project that is your custom home make music, nice sounding music that you're going to enjoy. But if you don't know this process and you don't take advantage of it, you will be taken advantage of, sometimes purposely, oftentimes it's inadvertently, but if you don't know this process, you'll get taken advantage of and your project will not sound as sweet. Let me open a whiteboard, share screen, and let's take a look at what this process is. Loading the whiteboard. Okay, so I've got a couple of kids. In the words of one of the Paw Patrol characters, Rocky, green means go. So let's start out with green. Now, I've broken the process into 3 sections, and those 3 sections have parts to them. So here we are. We're going to start out with your idea. You've got an idea of this custom home that you've been thinking about. It's there, you think about it, it's a dream, it's your idea. Now, once you get past the idea phase, you get into the program phase. You're going to start to program your project. Then you're going to go to concept. And concept is where you, at the end of this first phase, your concept is where you're starting to really put some more specifics to your vision. It's where the room's going. Now, after this, let's go with a blue, and we're going to do design. Now, design, you're hiring someone, at least that's the plan that we have for the class I'm putting together, is that you're hiring someone to work with you. They're going to use the information you've put together during idea, program, and concept, and you're going to start to put the design together. Now, design can be broken down into other phases, schematic, um, uh, contract documents. There's phases that design can go into, but let's call it design for now. And then construction. Now we're going to go into construction, and we're going to say red. We're not choosing red because it's necessarily bad. We're choosing the red color because this is where the rubbers meet in the road. You've done your work. You've got your contractor, or you're hiring your contractor. You're in construction. Things are happening on site. Then as part of this, which is a really important aspect, is going to be closeout and warranty. Now, there we are. Here is your 3 primary phases. Let's just use a black here. We're going to reference these into some categories. And we're going to say this is overall, this is program, this is design, and this is construction. Now, the one constant that exists within all of these phases, can any of you guess what it is? What's the one constant that exists in all of these phases? Let's go with the dark blue. It's a nice color to be thought of. The one constant in all of these phases is you. It is you. You are the owner. You are the construction owner. And you are the one that had the idea. You are the one that's going to be putting together the program. You might have someone helping you, depending on when you hire some professional help. It's going to be your concept. You're the one that's going to hire and manage the designer. And then as you get into construction, same here. The contractor wants to build what your vision is. The contractor isn't going to want to come up with the vision. Now, they can come up with ideas depending on where you're at within the process, but you're going to have the most efficient project if you have good plans, drawings, specs, when you have your contractor really getting into it. And depending on the delivery method you choose, the contractor can join your team sooner or later, or maybe you're going design build and they're one and the same, but there's still the design that comes first. And then it's going to be you that is closeout and warranty. And actually, now that I think about it, it's also you that's living in this house for many years, many happy years to come, hopefully. Now, as you can imagine, each one of these efforts, let's go back to, let's say a black, like a neutral color. Over here in idea, there's going to be sub efforts that you're going to do. You might start running your feasibility. You're going to look at such things as, you should start looking at your budget. In program, you're going to start to say, how many rooms are going to be in here? How am I going to live in this house? There's a document that you can put together that's referred to as your owner's project requirements. In concept, you're going to start to do sketches. And we can talk about, I'm going to have class, I'm going to have maybe even just a recording like this that talks about the concept and that phase and what you're doing in there and how to do some good sketches that you can bring to your design team. And then in design, you're going to be working with you're going to be hiring and managing your designer. You're going to be starting to lay out where the rooms go and what they're doing. And your design team, you're also going to be having a contract with them. At a certain point in this process, you're also going to want to do, a site survey, or maybe you're going to get a site survey as long as part of buying the land. That depends on what kind of land you're buying. You're going to do a soil boring so you can see what's in the soils. Then, with this work, you're going to have a completed design. You're going to get into construction. Here too, you're going to hire and manage your contractor. And now your designer can help with that process. They're going to do site visits, and you should also be doing site visits. You should be doing the site visits regularly, and you should know what kind of questions do you need to ask along the way. Then once you get into closeout and warranty, and closeout/warranty can start when you're in this phase here in construction, depending on equipment that you purchase, its startup date, the manufacturer of those pieces of equipment might actually have a requirement that the warranty starts when the piece of equipment is installed and first turned on. So that's important to know. And otherwise, if that is the case, there's times where you just want the contractor to carry liability because you're going to consider your warranty starting the day that you get turnover and you're able to move in and take possession of the space. So in closeout, you're looking for what are the different warranties? When do they start? What are the summaries of the different warranties? And how does this equipment work? What's the commissioning? What's the system, etc. Now, this is a process that if you're doing a lot of great work early within the programming phase, and this is work that you can do prior to hiring any professional. Now, let's say you were to hire someone that's like an owner's rep, like myself, like a construction owner's representative. They're a professional, don't get me wrong, And it's prior to hiring your design team, though. Or you could take my class, and that would also teach you this process here. And you can work through this on your own time here, and come up with really great information that's going to just benefit this as the process goes along. Because now, if you have good understanding of your project within the programming phase, that will save you an incredible amount of time and money. Because as this project moves along on your project timeline, changes that you would like to have happen to your project, changes cost considerably more as you get later into the process. If you're looking to do a change sometime here in the middle of construction, or you haven't made selections yet, you're going to spend more money making changes or making selections by this point. If you have a great idea here of what you're looking for and the types of materials that you want, that is going to streamline this whole process. And it's going to make construction much more enjoyable. And it's going to make construction such that you're going to be able to stay closer to your budget. This pre-work is very important, but don't get me wrong. Every single phase of this process is important. And if you know how this process works, like I've mentioned earlier, if you know how this process works, you're going to help your project make music. Think of it this way. This is an analogy I learned from someone that I was a mentor and I highly respect. If you hand a sheet of music to a musician that knows how to play and can make, read that music, they can look at it and say, oh, great, I'm going to make music and it's going to sound wonderful to those listening. But if you hand that sheet of music to someone that hasn't done their homework, doesn't know what they're doing, they almost can't make music. And if you go into this process where you don't know the language, you don't know how to read some of the notes, you're going to have a hard time making music with this process. And I want you to make some great music. And that's what my videos and especially my classes are going to help you to do. So again, my name's Chris Sachs. I'm the founder of Collective Core, and that's COR, Construction Owners Representatives. We are about education and representation, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. I'm a father of two young kids, and I know I can do this. I'm going to be building my house and posting videos, and I know you can do this too. Thank you.